the Bronco is Ford's answer to the Jeep Wrangler, a rugged, go-anywhere enthusiast vehicle. So what if you actually want to use this thing and take it on a proper adventure, a proper highway road trip? How well does it do on the highway as far as fuel economy goes? We're going to find out today. This is Christopher Brower from Daily Motor, and today we are conducting a fuel economy test on the 2021 Ford Bronco 2.3-liter 7-speed manual Badlands. I know that's a bit of a mouthful, but this thing comes in so many different configurations. You got to say what exact spec you're driving. So let's get out and take a walk around this thing so you can get a good idea of what it looks like. This one's finished in rapid red, and as I mentioned, it has the Badlands trim, but it's not the Sasquatch. We have just our standard BF Goodrich KO2 all-terrain tires that come on every Badlands Bronco. This one's fitted with a hard top as well, so that will slightly change, that'll maybe slightly change our results here, a little bit more aerodynamic than a soft top. But the Badlands itself is a little bit more of the rugged off-road focused Bronco if you're not going full wild track Sasquatch. It sits one trim level below that. We've got steel bumpers with tow hooks. Pretty cool Badlands badge there on the fender. This one's fitted with black leather interior as well, luxury package. But most importantly, that 7-speed manual transmission. So then, why do we do this test? Well, the EPA test only tests cars at 48 miles per hour, and we know that a lot of people like to take their SUVs, their cars, whatever it may be, on long distance road trips, and being that the speed limit is 70 miles per hour on the highway, that is what we are here to test. How well will this Bronco do at an average 70 mile per hour, 50 mile out, 50 mile back test? So 100 miles, 70 miles per hour. A couple things worth noting. Outside temperature is 28 degrees, so actually not as cold as it has been the past couple weeks here in Michigan. We'll be running the climate control at a 73 degrees auto, and we'll be tracking our speed here on Waze, because sometimes speedometers are slightly off, and Waze uses GPS, so we're able to gauge it off of that. We're also going to fill up both times at the same pump using the same 3-click fueling method to keep this as accurate as possible. Parking brake on. Let's go ahead and get this thing filled up for our first fill. And a whopping 14.2 gallons in for our first fill. I have been driving this thing around for the past couple days quite spiritedly, so that is why it has taken so much. Before we start the engine, let's go ahead and reset our trip computer. And let's get our climate set to 73 degrees auto. Apologies if that starts blowing the fan a little bit hard. As it has, okay. All right, got the Bronco fired up. Let's go ahead and get started on this test. The highway's about a half mile away. Drive very slowly on the way there, and I will catch up with you once I am merging onto the freeway. All right, merging onto the highway here now. The purpose of this test is not to hypermile. What I'm going to do is get onto the highway, set my cruise control for a GPS indicated 72 miles per hour, and just drive like you would on any highway trip. I'm not going to be doing any sort of drafting or anything like that. Just a nice 70 mile per hour average cruise on the highway. Over the course of about 100 miles, we will see how it does. Don't have to worry about merging quickly today because the Volkswagen Atlas in front of us has other plans anyways. Decent amount of low-end torque here in this Bronco, not quite as much as I would want, but that's really my only complaint with this powertrain. This 2.3 is a sweet little engine, and that 7-speed manual is absolutely fantastic. If you're curious about either of those things, check the links in the description for the DM test drive review of this Bronco. All right, once the Civic goes by, we will go ahead and get over and set our cruise control. All right, and it looks like our speedometer is true to the GPS. All right, cruise control set at 72. Initial highway impressions, it's pretty loud. But just like any car in this class, this Bronco, the Jeep Wrangler, they're all going to be pretty loud on the highway because, well, the roof comes off and not everything is as solid as just a normal hard-top car. So you have to expect that it's going to be a little bit loud. We also are riding on some BF Goodrich KO2s, which don't help with the road noise either, but they're fantastic off-road, so we'll give it a pass for now. Adaptive Cruise seems to work pretty well. I've got it set on the closest option. We also have Lane Keep Assist, which will turn on as well. All right, guys, well, I will catch up with you in about 95 miles, and we'll see how this Bronco does. Alright guys, coming up on that 100-mile mark, about to take the exit. You know, I gotta say, I'm pleasantly surprised with how well this Bronco has done over this 100-mile highway trip. I expected it to be way louder, way more uncomfortable, but I mean, really, I'm mostly unfazed. It's a little bit loud, but honestly, I think I could go on a trip in this and I wouldn't really be too bothered. So, puts it up to potential daily driver status. And as you can see, just hit 100 miles on our trip odometer there, and the car says we've been doing 20 miles per gallon even. Now, EPA rates this thing at 18 in Badlands manual form. So we'll have to see once we get to the pump and do some math how accurate that 20 mile per gallon figure is. Overall though, really good adaptive cruise, pretty decent lane keep assist. No sort of crazy steering assist on this Bronco, but overall, the adaptive cruise does a really, really good job. I'm surprised with how well it does. All right, well, with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and hit the gas pump and see how well we actually did on our about 102-mile journey. All right, and 5.176 gallons in for our final fuel. Toe for tap. All right, let's see what that adds up to. 5.176. So we know that our trip that we do is exactly 102.2 miles. Divide that by the 5.176. Gives us 19.74 miles per gallon. So that rounds this thing up to 20 MPG on the highway. Keep in mind, it's freezing. It's 28 degrees out. And I think in nice weather, you could certainly hit a solid 20 or maybe even better. All right, and we can take that 19.74. Know we have a 16.9 gallon tank. That gives you an effective highway cruising range of about 330 miles. So pretty good. Anything over 300, I would say, is adequate. So there you go. This thing beat the EPA's estimated rating of 18 miles per gallon in the freezing cold in the middle of winter. I'd say that's pretty impressive. So there you go. That's been the highway fuel economy test on the 2021 Ford Bronco Badlands 4-door manual. What a pleasure it's been driving this thing today. Super comfortable on the highway. Quite a bit better than a Jeep Wrangler. The hardtop allows for slightly less highway noise, and overall, the cruise control, everything about it was really, really nice to drive today. So that's going to finish it up for us today. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. This has been Christopher Brower with Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.